Father, bless me with the heart of a lion and a warrior soul. So no weapon that form against I shall not prevail. And no man that rise against I, that war they shall never win. 'Cause I will conquer, oh I will conquer, yes I will conquer them. Come on, let's conquer, oh I will conquer, rise up and conquer them. Tell them no retreat, no surrender. I shall fight till the end of days. I was born as a Makai warrior, and the Almighty God my blade. Fire burn all Satan carrier. Father loose all shackles and chain. This morning first thing as I wake up, King David told Sam to the brain. Don't let your courage go down, keep it up. And if your heart rip up and stitch it up, don't let your faith them fall, pick it up. When my cup was empty, God fill it up. Don't take the devil contract, rip it up. And if your bad mind people to go meet it up, pass me the Congo drum and let me beat it up. God on my side, me no give it up. So no weapon that form against I shall not prevail. And no man that rise against I, that war they shall never win. 'Cause I will conquer, oh I will conquer, yes I will conquer them. Come on, let's conquer, oh I will conquer, rise up and conquer them. Thank you, Father. I want to say thank you, Lord. You are everything, Father. Thank you. Father, you alone shall guide me. No man shall lead my path. In the wind I hear your quiet whispers, and you heal my broken heart. Even some of my friends turn enemies, and they pray for right to feel. And remember you gave us your only begotten son, but we gave him the wound of love. Send down your warriors with the hello, be carried on to the end of days. No matter how the devil try trick me, unto you my soul I will give. Father, I know this time is coming. I can see the high tide raise. Without you there is no other. Could there be that really my soul? No weapon that form against I shall not prevail. And no man that rise against I, that war they shall never win. 'Cause I will conquer, oh I will conquer, yes I will conquer them. Come on, let's conquer, oh I will conquer, rise up and conquer them. I am a man, I am a champion, I am a warrior. So who are you to tell me that I cannot make? Who are you to tell me that I am not the greatest thing that God ever created?
Good morning, Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. You're listening to Hard Talk Grenada. A very special good morning to those of you joining us on 97.5 CitysoundFM, 89.5 CRFM, 91.9 and 91.5 RealFM radio, 92.9 Sister Round radio broadcasting from Hillsborough, Carriacou, and of course 94.9 We Noise radio out there in Brooklyn, New York. Also a special good morning to those of you joining us on the live video, whether it's on Facebook, it's on YouTube, on Instagram, wherever you are. Good morning to you. It is a beautiful, beautiful, what is it, Thursday, Mr. Bola? Thursday morning in the Spice Isle of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. It's a little rainy here in Grenada. I'm not sure what's happening in Carriacou and PT Martinique, but I'm sure that our listeners there will let us know at some point this morning. And this morning, of course, in studio with me, I have my co-host, Mr. Bola. Mr. Bola, say good morning.
Good morning to you, Ms. Duncan. Good morning to our listeners out there, by whatever means you're listening us, whatever platform you're hearing us from. We really do hope that you had a good week so far, and that today, Thursday, it will be a tremendous day for you, as it is for us. A little rain, as you've said, in my neck of the woods. We did get some rain this morning. In fact, when I left home, it was raining, and I can see the streets in St. George's are a little bit damp, so I knew you got something here in St. George's as well. So I do hope that today we'll go along the journey again, where we try to impart positive information to you, where we try to give you the most real information, very factual, and information that you can use to make positive changes in your life.
Absolutely. And Mr. Bola, do you want to introduce our guest this morning since you abandoned me yesterday? I think it is your duty today to introduce our guest.
And you know it is not absolutely true that I abandoned you, Ms. Duncan. You know, as well I do, that sometimes on the 99th or at the 99th moment, Mr. Bola is being called to do different little things, and that was the case yesterday. In fact, for those who have been listening to GBN to the point yesterday morning, I was informed that I have to be joining Miss Alexis, Blossom Alexis, to be on To the Point yesterday morning. And as it is these days, most of these programs are done virtually, so I had no reason to leave the confines of my home.
That still doesn't explain or justify how abandoned I felt.
Well, that was a matter of your feeling. Anyway, we're not going to get into that argument. The listeners are not supposed to hear you and I arguing. We'll take that after the program. We'll deal with that, and we'll find someone to settle that. But happy am I this morning to introduce not a stranger to this program, but someone whom I hold in high esteem and regard. Someone who has been representing not just the people of Grenada as a youthful minister, but who has been my own parliamentary representative. And I present to us this morning as our guest, the Honorable Kate Skeeter Lewis, who is here with us in studio, live and alive in person, to speak to us on issues and matters concerning youth and other things. Her constituency, you know, the way things are looking, what has happened during the COVID period, and the outlook after COVID, because most of us know what COVID did to us and is still doing to us, because sometimes we speak simply because we do not have any medically tested cases in Grenada. Sometimes we speak as though it's over. But maybe not at all. We just don't know. I think it was this morning or last night listening to BBC News. They were talking about some new initiatives that are being taken in Spain and in France, because they're seeing a resurgence in a very big way in those countries as well. So in Grenada, we always have to be prepared. So good morning to you, Minister Lewis. Your responsibility is mainly with youth, but you're also in sports and culture and that whole ministry with Minister Cox. So welcome to Hard Talk. And of course, I think the listeners out there will be listening, you know, with great apprehension to hear what you have to say to them.
Good morning, and thank you very much, Mr. Bola, for your warm introduction. Good morning, Ms. Duncan. It is a pleasure to be here. Good morning to all our listeners and viewers via the radio and different social media platforms. Wherever you are hearing us from, it's a pleasure to be here, and I'm happy to be here to share information with you this morning.
All right, thank you so much. And of course, we appreciate you for being here and sharing with us. I believe it is timely, your visit, of course, with the reopening of schools and, of course, with so much happening as it surrounds youth development in our country, because we know the youth are the future. So we're going to get right into it, because I know these days all of our representatives are rather busy. Yes. With matters of state and matters of constituency, and COVID has not made your job any easier at all. So we're going to get right into it. Minister, I want to give you an opportunity to tell us about some of the initiatives that the Ministry of Youth has taken so far to engage the young people and to empower the young people in the state of Grenada.
Thank you very much. At the Ministry of Youth, we have a variety of projects and programs to engage our young people so that they can develop and harness their skills, their talents, their abilities. They can be able to make worthwhile contributions to their communities, to their own development, and of course to national development. The flagship programs, of course, the Money program, the Empower program, the Fly program, these are programs that are ongoing daily, yearly, and and these programs, as you can see, engage a number of young people in a meaningful way, where they get to and learn different skills, life skills, very important for one's development. Then we have the technical and vocational skills, on-the-job training, apprenticeship training. These are the reasons why we have those important programs with our young people. But at the advent of COVID-19, we continue to do more engagement. Just about 2 weeks ago, we had a panel discussion hearing from our young people, their thoughts on the impact of COVID-19, how it's affecting the workforce going forward, what is their responsibility as young people. We also have the National Youth Parliament. This year, because of COVID, we had to just make some structural changes and to international youth debates, of course, giving our young people that voice, that platform where they can discuss their ideas and share even their solutions, because it is very important that we recognize the importance of youth inclusion in whatever decisions we are making going forward for the future of our country.
All right. Now, I'm glad that you said youth inclusion, because in different circuits there has been a conversation surrounding a forum in which young people can air their concerns, a forum that is not social media, because we know the ills of social media and what it can do to us as a society, but a more formal forum where young people can express themselves and can speak to representatives from the Ministry of Youth on things that they believe would be beneficial or things that they believe affect them as young people. Has the Ministry of Youth considered establishing or piloting a project that includes providing such a forum for young people to express themselves?
Yes, at the ministry, and I would say just about 3 weeks ago, we had a relaunch of the National Youth Ambassadors Program. And this program gives our young people the platform to identify issues within their communities, to bring forth those issues to the personnel at the Ministry of Youth, and also to work together to bring about solutions. So the National Youth Ambassadors now, they have that mandate to be the voice for young people. So we have already created that platform, giving our young people the opportunity to do so. But added to that, remember we had the National Youth Parliament, National Youth Debate. These are all platforms that give our young people the opportunity to share their ideas, share their concerns, and bring forward their solutions to different issues that they face as young people.
Okay. Now, I think, and in my mind, I'm thinking of a more direct platform where more young people, because I've seen Youth Parliament, and yes, we have young people there who are able to express themselves and able to speak on the behalf of, and very eloquently so, on behalf of young people. But within the communities and within the different constituencies, are engagements being considered? Or are we considering engagements on the ground with our young people to figure out exactly what is affecting them? Those deep-seated issues that they may have.
Our youth officers, they work within the communities. They go out and identify the issues. Just last week, they were in the communities of Montu and Saigon, and identifying, meeting the young people who are on the block. What are the reasons why you're on the block still? So they're identifying and bringing forth ideas from the young people themselves. So we do have that, and you have to also realize the Youth Ambassadors Program comes. We have an ambassador for, at least 2 ambassadors for every constituency. So they are bringing forward the information from the communities within the constituencies. And we are always open for ideas, suggestions, discussions. So if we need to build on that, we can do so.
Minister, I just like to pitch in here because I understand what Ms. Duncan is zeroing into, and you have, or the ministry, sorry, I should say, not just you, has a perfect platform in place. So the youth ambassadors, at least 2 ambassadors per constituency, should be a means for interaction where they can be the line of communication from the youths to the ministry to the youth. But sometimes what you have are gaps in those lines. Because you may well have 2 ambassadors, which by our standards in Grenada should be sufficient for every constituency, should be able to meet with the varying groups and so. Sometimes these people are not known.
Yeah.
For example, I don't know who the two ambassadors for our constituency
I was
is,
just
right?
about to
And,
ask.
and that
Right.
is not at all leveling any blame on you as minister. But the point I'm trying to make here is that we have to find a way in which we can get these people to be much more engaged,
Right.
people
And
know
ju-
them and things like that.
Right. So just to come in here, it was only about 3 weeks ago, as I indicated, that we relaunched the program. So we are now in the process of bringing the young people to the communities. They are not identified or publicized as yet to the community. So that is one of the reasons we are doing a lot of background work with them now, training with them. So, want to ensure that they are well prepared before we introduce them to the public. And that is the reason why you're unaware as to who they are at this point.
Understood. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't know that, which you
Yes,
just said to
yes.
us. But if you're going along that line, I think it's the perfect line.
Yes.
And we really have to, because let's face it, our young people are very enthusiastic. They're very energetic.
Yeah.
And sometimes not that things are not there for them, but just the fact that they don't know it's there or how to get to it, that by itself, they use it to create a whole lot of conflict and, confusion. And then the picture that goes out is as though these people are abandoned, which is not really the case. So we need to constantly be trying to bring information to them, engage them, engagement.
So what we have been doing is beefing up on our public relations. We have actually created a PR unit within the Ministry of Youth, and we are on different platforms explaining the different programs that we have so our young people can understand. But remember, the youth officer's role is to go out into the communities and spread that information as well. And with the addition of the ambassadors, once they are properly trained and we introduce them to the public, they too will also be bringing, as you say, be that connection between the communities and the Ministry of Youth. It is very important also, and I always like to appeal to our young people. If you don't know, you have a responsibility to sort the information out.
I definitely do agree with that. And we speak about that here every day in terms of young people taking that initiative, going out there and finding out what is available to you, because not everything is going to come and meet you at your doorstep,
Definitely.
And trying their best not to listen to what is happening on social media or listen to what other people tell you, but just to find out for yourself, that's an important step. But Minister, let's delve deeper into some of the programs that you have available, specifically the Empower program that is available. Tell us a little bit more about what that program itself entails.
Right. So last year we launched the Empower program. So this year we actually had the second cohort. Last year was basically a pilot year. The Empower program specifically targets at-risk young men. So these young men, mainly we find them on the blocks. And we are giving them that second opportunity to succeed in life. Most of them might have been high school dropouts. Some of them, they did not achieve anything thus far in their life. So the Empower is giving them that hope for the future. It's giving them that second opportunity to learn a skill, develop themselves mentally, and have that positive mindset on which they can achieve success in life. So at the start of the program, we had 500 young men. And graduating at the end of that year, because it's a one-year program where we do all the life skill, the developmental skill, the CVQ vocational training, and so forth with our young men. So we started with 500, but we had graduating over 350. To us, that is a success. Knowing the young men who we picked up from the blocks, knowing the challenges that they face. And this year, we have started with the 350 young men. They are going well. The facilitators and monitoring officers have indicated the kind of interest they are showing in that program. Because yes, they felt abandoned somewhat, and they just needed someone to place that attention on them. Mind you, the Imani program is for men and women. However, after careful analysis, what we realized that it was 95% female, 5% male. So we had to create a specific program to help these young men. And that is the purpose of the Empower program.
Okay. Now, walk me through it. I am a young man, hypothetically, and I apply to be a part of or I'm selected to be a part of the Empower program. What do I stand to learn? What skills do I stand to gain at the end of this program?
Right. So there are a variety of skills. We start off with the developmental sessions. These sessions will help the young men to understand themselves. So who am I? My father and me. You know, these are the things that will help them. They do things like time management, the importance of financial management, because of course we give them a stipend and we want to ensure that they use it properly. So that first 3 months they're doing life skills developmental sessions where, you know, they would be able to make better decisions with their lives. So from there, some of them, based on their abilities, because we do psychosocial assessment, we do academic assessment with them, and then we place them accordingly. Some will move directly into apprenticeship training. Some will have to do the CVQ, the CVQ qualifications and so in different areas. But what we have, the areas we have selected are areas demanded by the job market. So you would see they would be involved in tiling, general construction, agriculture. These are some of the areas demanded by the job market at this time. Heavy machine operation, landscaping,
yes.
You know, so a variety of skilled areas that we have them doing that CVQ and the apprenticeship training in.
Wow. I heard of the Empower program. I understood that it was a program for young men, but I didn't even understand.
Basically at-risk young men.
Yeah, at-risk young men.
Target
Yeah.
the at-risk
But I
one.
didn't even understand that there was so many intricate parts of it, and not
Yes.
just a skill training, but a holistic training
Developmental
for.
training.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So you can change from being a young man hypothetically now and be a young man and go get some training.
And
But I'm not
I
at
want
risk.
to, Ms. Duncan, Ms. Bola, I want to give you an example of a young man from the area of Tivoli. And I did put up a post on my page, you know, because I felt so proud of this young man. I remember when I met him first off in 2018, he was very shy, very reluctant to engage in conversation. But, you know, we don't give up. We continued targeting him, speaking to him, of course, at risk, smoking, doing all the things that we do not consider positive for young men to succeed. And he was engaged in the Empower program, and he learned all the skills that we have been transforming. And today, he's a WeiVybz, because we have the WeiVybz, very important. We must speak about WeiVybz as well. He's a WeiVybz participant. So now he's receiving training in entrepreneurship. And this young man moved from not wanting to have a conversation to giving thanks on behalf of the participants in WeiVybz. And I felt very proud of that.
Of course, the
That is-
transformation.
The transformation.
And these are some of the things that, as a representative, brings
Yeah.
joy to you.
Yes.
Because some people think most of the time you get into politics to become a representative for the money. And I keep saying to people, there's no money
no
in
money in
politics.
politics,
These, like what Minister has just explained. You know, you go to bed or you wake up in the morning and you think about how many lives through your effort you
Yeah.
have been able to transform. Who you have been able to move from one stage of being a poverty. And only the other day we were talking about generational poverty,
Yeah.
where our people continue to do the same things repeatedly and so they can't move out.
Yeah.
But if you are able to move one or two,
Yeah.
3 or 4, you feel a sense of accomplishment.
That's where the
As-
service and sacrifice
And,
Fight,
and
yes,
you're
come.
so right about this, Mr. Bola. The joy comes from the impact that
Yes.
you can have on one's life. And this young man now, he's on the move to encourage young men. And every time we speak, because we're on WhatsApp, we communicate daily, he would say to me, Minister, positivity, motivation, and that's what I'm about. And I'm so happy to just, you know, and that is just one isolate case, but we have many other
cases.
Yes.
And that's probably why in Grenada teachers make such good politicians, because as a teacher, that's the same feeling that you
Yes, definitely.
It's the same exact
creating that
feeling
positive
you get.
impact
Yes.
on one's life.
Yes.
Am I sensing something here? Because in case you do not know, Minister, Ms. Duncan is very passionate about teaching. She has taught before.
Okay.
She's continuing her studies in that area
Very
as we
good.
speak. And I think her intent is to continue to teach. Now,
But right now, what she's doing is imparting knowledge. That's what teaching is all about.
right, that too. But the fact that's why teachers make such good politicians. Have me
No,
thinking,
Mr.
don't
Oh,
get it. No,
okay.
I'm not asking you a question, Ms. Duncan. Please,
The
don't
possibility
don't
exists
respond.
when the time is right, Mr. Bowler. I'm sure
Well-
everything will reveal itself in due time.
Well, there's a writer who says that there are stages in the life of men, if taken at the high tide, can lead to greater things.
Okay.
So
Let's
just
look
let your
forward to
tide,
see.
just ride your tide.
Now, Minister, let's talk about the Imani program. Now, the Imani program has been around for a very long time.
Yes.
And it has gone through many stages.
Yes.
And many phases, and it has impacted the life of many young people within the state of Grenada.
Yeah.
Some people who still are in the Imani programs continue to talk about it. Some people are eager to get into the program, to be a part of the program. Can you tell us a little bit about what it offers at this time? What skills training or skill set can be offered, but also what are the educational opportunities available through the Imani project?
Yes. So in 2013, we had started the new Imani program. And from 2013 to now, we had engaged over 5,000 people. Currently in the program, we have over 2,000, about 2,300 thereabout. It means that people are coming in and people are moving out. Some stay longer than others because people are coming in at different levels. They are coming from different backgrounds. So the training opportunities and the development opportunities would take longer for some of them. And that is what I believe a lot of people do not understand. So you may find someone in the program, they might have been there since 2013. That would take them about 7 years. But we do have people who came in, let's say in 2018, and they have already moved on from the program. Because what you're seeing, because they are coming in from at different levels, the developmental stages for some of them is longer than others. Right. So the Imani program continues to be a training opportunity for our young people. It gives them the opportunity to get hands-on experience. So one of the main components of all our programs is life skills. So all of our programs have that life skill component because we believe we have to prepare them for whatever they're moving into, the world of work, okay, the world of business, because we have that component as well. So the life skill is very important. From that life skill component, some of them will move on to the direct skills training, where they would do whatever skill they're interested in. Some of them do cosmetology. Some of them are involved in geriatric care. So there are a variety of different skills training that they would go directly into. The hospitality industry, the general construction, agriculture, all these things. So they are learning that skill. Some of them are involved in the CVQ. They do CVQ at levels 1, levels 2, up to levels 3. And we give them that opportunity to develop themselves. So when they leave that program, they should be able to make it on their own. But you have to remember that some of them take a longer period. We have the social care unit added on to this program simply because we realize there are many trainees who are giving trouble. As we say, quote unquote, they're giving trouble. They are not complying with the rules and policies of the program. So they might be suspended from their jobs. They might be sent home. They might be deactivated from that program. But we do not just say we are deactivating you and that's it. No. We have created the social care unit that partners with the Ministry of Social Development to provide that counseling to those trainees who are, having trouble maintaining or complying with the policies of the program. So the social care unit will take them through and to get them to the point where they can get back into the program and to perform at a better, in a better way, we say it. We have had many successes in the program. People move from entry-level jobs into senior and managerial positions. People move from being into the program, going into entrepreneurship. They are running their successful businesses. And a lot of we also have the scholarship component of that program. People come in without CXCs, gaining their CXCs, gaining their going to TAMCC to gain their associate degree, moving on to SGU and other universities, and even at the master's level. Because what we do, we create a platform where they can move from one stage to the next within that program. So the scholarship component of the program allows them to pursue studies at different levels while still providing them with that stipend. And we have added now that while you're doing your studies, you have to give back in the form of community service. This was recently added to the scholarship component.
All right.
So Minister, I'm sitting here. I mean, I've been in government as well, and I have a fairly good idea of what the Imani program offers. There are a lot of people out there who thinks that the Imani program is a program where few unemployed young people comes in, you find a placement, as they say, somewhere in the private or public sector, you place them there, right? They get a stipend at the end of the month, whatever level. They spend 2 years, and then they're off. Because I hear sometimes in the argument, people say, well, yes, the Imani program, but after 2 years, what's next? They're out, and that's it. Yeah. But here I am. There's so much positives that are emanating from that program that honestly, I don't believe as a ministry and a government that we are doing enough to expose. Can't we get the cameras, for example? Because I know for a fact, and it also testifies to the point that you're making, why some people stay into the program longer than others. You have some people get in, they do their life skills, they do whatever other soft training, as we call it, that they need to do, and then they are placed. Sometimes private, sometimes public sector. Within 6 months, because of their performances, sometimes they are taken on permanently. Both private as well as public sector. So there you have a trainee, comes in, their performance speaks for themselves. They move on. Within a year. They didn't even complete the full 2-year training, and they get something permanent. But who hears about those stories? How many of those situations we have that is not being spoken about? The examples are not given. So a lot of people, and sometimes even some of the people who know better, but for political expediency and otherwise, they will not. And I oftentimes say on this program, maybe to my detriment, I don't know, Ms. Duncan, don't expect our enemies to sell our stories. Right? So in other words, what I'm saying to you, Minister, I think we need to do more. Not in terms of the program itself, because I think the program is offering more than... And of course, I don't know of any other island in the sub-region, any other Caribbean OECS island that is doing a program exactly like us. I remember some years ago, I think it was the St. Lucians, if my memory serves me right. They came here, they had sent some people here, they were kind of understudying what we were doing because they wanted to fashion a program similar to the Imani. Whether they have started or not, I'm not too sure, so I'm not going down that line. But I know they were making inquiries. They had persons that came. There were people from the civil service that came, was looking at what we were doing, or trying to understand it better and seeing how they can fashion something similar, maybe with a different name. The point I'm making is that we have been doing as a government over the years and through the Ministry of Youth a tremendous job in transforming. I mean, we sometimes don't understand the full impact of what that program all by itself is doing for so many families. And I think the time has come, and probably it's passing us, when we should take the cameras, when we should sit with these people, have them tell their story, have other family members tell the story of how just one or two people from the family getting into the Imani, moving on from how it has impacted the family in a positive way.
Yes, Mr. Bola, and you're so right about that. As I said, we had a PR officer, but at the ministry now we have a PR unit, and we are actually in the process of, compiling those stories so we can share it with the general public. But here we have another problem, because we know positive news take longer to spread than the negative news. So we have to try try our best, and we will continue to do so, to share all the positive stories, that comes from that program. And we call upon the trainees, the past trainees, to share their own experience. They do not have to wait on the ministry, because one thing I always say to people, no matter how far you reach in life, no matter how much you have achieved, somebody, someone, some institution has assisted you, and you must show gratitude to that institution or that person.
That is absolutely right. Well said. Now, Minister, let's move on to some of the challenges, because we know that...
even before you go to the challenges, Ms. Duncan, Minister did want to talk about the Youth Bees program.
Yes.
So I think maybe you can get into that, and then we can look at some of the challenges.
So give us an idea of what Youth Biz is all about.
Right. So the Youth Biz was, we transformed from the Grenada Youth Enterprise Initiative into Youth Biz. We also created a small business support center that provides training opportunities, financial support, and operational support for small businesses for our young people. So that small business support is located in St. Mark. But what we have with the Youth Biz, we partner with the Grenada Development Bank, the GDB, to provide soft loans to our young people who are moving from any of our programs into Youth Biz. They qualify for the soft loans once they met all the different requirements and so. And we do have the officers, the Youth Biz officers, who go and look at what they're doing, who provide encouragement, support in the form of, the training. We do business cards for them. We help market their business and so. So the Youth Biz is all about entrepreneurship for our young people, giving them that opportunity to become self-employed, to create employment for themselves and for others. They get to access the finance, the training, the operational training, everything they need. So the Youth Biz Center, the Youth Biz part of the ministry is to focus on entrepreneurship for our young people.
Yep. And I guess Youth Biz mean youth in business in short.
Youth in business.
In business,
yes.
Now, can someone from the Empower program now use the skills and so on that they have learned, join the Youth Biz program that will now teach them how to hone in on those skills and create their own business?
You are so correct, because the first batch or the first cohort of the Empower, we translated them into or transitioned them into the Youth Biz department. So what we did at the end of the 1 year, we give them all the tools, all the equipment that they needed to start their own business. Now they're on the Youth Biz, they're actually asking for loans to expand on those business. Some of them, of course, they need more time, but we have those who are involved in the poultry farming, those who are involved in landscaping. They want to expand now because their business is growing, and Youth Biz is there to provide support for them.
In fact, Minister, I can testify to that. We were doing a community project, and we needed to get a building power washed and so. And the young person, in fact, we got about 3 recommendations, and all 3 of them were people who went through the Empower program. Wow. At the end of it, they were interested in that kind of thing. The ministry assisted them in getting the power wash and so, what equipments they needed. And so one of them was able to get a job. A community project that I was involved in. So this is testimony to the fact that these were young people who at one time didn't have a vision for anything else in life but to just hang out on the street, probably get a little something on in the debushing program when it comes around. What they have a way they call it, and they're looking for the for what they call it?
435.
435. That's what they tell you. Yeah, don't forget me. I want my 435, because I think after you deduct NIS and what have you, what they receive is $435 from the fortnight work in the debushing. So they would remind you. So probably outside of looking for the 435, that was it for them. Yeah. But the Empower program brought them in, taught them the life skills, gave them a new outlook on life. And so I can testify to that they do their business, and
Yes,
this was
yes.
one person who went through that program that was able to get a little something. So
These are really wonderful stories, and I wish, as Mr. Bowler said, that more of these stories go out there, because you have those advocates who tend to say, oh, there's nothing being done for the young people, or the young people are being affected the most, and you're not seeing anything done for them, and what are the opportunities available for the young people? And as Mr. Bowler said, for political expediency, of course, you would hear these voices, and it's not a lot of them, It's just a few people
with loud
voices that tend to make these noises. And it is important for young people, as I said earlier, to seek your own interest. As a young person, you grew up in a home that maybe single parent or comes from a line of poverty, and you have to know what you want for yourself, how you plan for your life to be, how you plan to help your family, and look into these things, because from what I'm hearing, there are plenty opportunities available.
There are many opportunities, and just to say as well, the few people who are claiming there are no opportunities or not enough opportunities for young people have benefited from many of the programs and projects from the Ministry of Youth, that they are now in a position to articulate on issues that they perceive faced by young people, because we have provided the training opportunities for them to communicate so well and to articulate their points.
Wow, see that?
Yes.
And we've said that before. They would take advantage, but they would never encourage their people to take advantage to empower themselves. Well, it is what it is. I mean, young people, from hearing this, if you don't want to take note and go out there and mind your business, basically, then we can't really blame anybody else, right? Now, Minister, I know that you are pressed for time, and I want us to look at the constituency. But before we do that, we must speak about the challenges, because we don't want to give people the impression that we're sitting here talking about perfect programs. We know that everything has its challenges, and even now with COVID-19, some of the challenges have been even more in the fore. So what are some of the challenges that you guys are facing with the programs in the midst of COVID-19?
Yes. And even before COVID-19, we have faced many challenges. And I believe as we continue to bring about developmental programs for our young people, we will always have challenges. We cannot get away from the challenges. It's how we deal with those challenges. So, of course, one of the main challenges, as I said, is as a result of the young people coming from different backgrounds, the mindset. So while we may have some of them who already knows what they want in life and what they want to achieve in life, we have those who don't know. So the quickest way out for them is to earn a stipend, and that is a challenge, because their focus is on the stipend and not necessarily the training that we are offering that will help them to make positive decisions. So we constantly faced with having to deal with trainings to get them up to standard, to attend your training sessions, attend your training sites. And so we are faced with those challenges. It gives the officers at the ministry extra work, having to call them, having to visit them at home. There are times the officers have to go at the trainees' home, get them out of bed. And that is the kind of care and interest that we are showing. But it is a big challenge, because at the end of the day, people may be looking and they will say, well, this person in the program, they're not doing anything, but they're getting a stipend. But you have to remember that as someone in the community, you also have a responsibility. If you know that they are part of the program, they are not going, find out, because we are not the government that just would say, you don't come, we're going to just get rid of you. No, we have to do the background check to find out what is the reason why you're not going. We don't want to just deactivate you from a program that we want you to benefit and you can move on in a positive way. So the challenge has to deal with the different kinds of young people that come into the program. That is one of the challenge. COVID-19 has affected the structure in which we deliver our programs. We always gather. That is one of the things. Young people gather to understand and learn what we are doing. But we as everyone else, we had to move to the e-platform. A lot of our training, even the monitoring and supervision, we had to do it via, the telephone or the Zoom. And that is so... While it has created a challenge, it has provided an opportunity for some of our officers, our trainees as well, to get accustomed with the technology and to learn from it. But it has posed a challenge in the structure of our program. Even we could not have the National Youth Parliament so far for the year. But what we did all the training for youth debate online, and then we were able to give them that opportunity to do it via we could not bring in people or any audience to see and hear what they were saying, and so these are some of the challenges that we face. Of course, everything that we want to do, we have limited resources, and that will always be a challenge. So we have to continue to prioritize what is very important now, what we can take on at this time. So these are just a few of the challenges that we face at the ministry.
As Ms. Duncan said, time is quickly running out.
Yes, but before we do that and before we move on to anything, I just want to give kudos to the PS, the coordinator of youth, assistant coordinator, and all the youth officers, the program manager of the different programs, everything, the project officers, they have been doing an excellent job. And we must, give them that credit for what they have been doing.
Of course, without them and their efforts, all of the
Yes.
positives that you're talking about today,
Exactly, it
you
would
would
not have
not
been a
be
reality.
a reality. But I just want to put that one to you, Minister. Now, we're going to be moving on to the constituency. But just before, as Minister of Youth, you're there. We understand the challenges, and we know that it's getting even tougher. COVID has...
Yeah.
in and of itself brought on more pressure. The government is now speaking about the need probably to cut back on some of the programs that they would have promised during the last budget presentation, due to the fact that revenue collections have dipped by almost 50%. So quite obvious, we do it in our everyday life. We plan for certain things. The finances doesn't appear, doesn't come as we expected it. We have to cut certain things off. But how do you, as minister, or through the agents that work with you, your field officers, your youth officers, what do you say now to young people, a group of young people, some who are yearning, some who have applied, some who wanted to, and now you are reinforcing the positivity of those programs, and they said, boy, I was never sure, but I heard minister this morning, and I really want to get in. Understanding the challenges before you.
Right.
What do you say to people like that who has all their hopes up and hoping that sooner than later they will get a call, and that may not be?
Yes, we have to let our young people know that every challenge, we are in a pandemic situation now. We should not only look at the challenges, but look at the opportunities that may come about. And I would say to them that if you are aspiring to be in one of the programs now and you did not get the opportunity, it gives you the chance to focus on something else. Maybe focus on yourself for this period, maybe focus on your education. And I always believe that our young people are rushing out of school, Mr. Bowler. Ms. Duncan, I believe we could stay longer in school so you can be prepared for the world of work or prepared for entrepreneurship. So if you cannot get into one of the programs, maybe you can sign up for a course, maybe a TAMCC. There are many free courses now offered by TAMCC, NULO, through the Sky project that we have here. And that is what I would like to say. Use the opportunity to do some self-introspection. Use it to develop yourself in a way that whenever the opportunities now present itself, you can be ready for it.
Sure, Minister.
No better way to say it. Now, Minister, we have about 10 minutes, I know, before you're ready to, you have to leave. But I want us to very quickly touch on the constituency of St. Andrew Northeast. What are the people of St. Andrews Northeast expected to look forward to in this upcoming year, even with the challenges of COVID-19?
Right. So the people can continue to expect some of the programs and projects that we have been delivering to them on a yearly basis. So we talk about things like the school uniform assistance through the vouchers. They have applied, and that will be delivered to them once it is processed and ready. They can continue to look forward to the seed benefits that they receive. They can continue to look forward to the normal housing assistance that they receive, the brigade assistance, the bathroom and toilet assistance that we have just really officially started. It was going on before, but officially started, as a national project recently, so they can get those assistance as well. And we want them to know that all of the projects, the special projects that we have planned for the year, and I always said we must commend the government despite the low or the reduction in government revenues. We continue to have our special project. And as we speak here, I'm seeing a call here from Nigel at the Ministry of Works. It's something about a project that he's calling me about here now. We are looking at, of course, the Simon Cultural Center. That has not really been affected in terms of putting it on a hold. It is continuing. What has been affected is the timing of it. So by now, we should have been finished with the drawings and all these things, but we are still working on it. Remember, we lost at least 3 months due to COVID-19. Yeah. So that project will continue. The Paraclete Bridge, the tendering was done already, and we're just waiting to see who would win that bid and whatnot. So there are many projects that we continue. The Paradise Preschool, we're getting a new school, and I'm so happy for that new school because, Paradise Preschool is my alma mater, Mr. Bowler. So I'm happy. So despite the challenges, we continue to receive the different services from the different ministries, and as well as the construction projects.
Just to add, Minister, probably you have so much to think about, you might have forgotten. I recently heard the Minister for Education in the sword turning ceremony for the
Grenada Christian Academy.
Right, so it was the Montrose Seventh-day Adventist when she said pretty soon, because the land was secured already, Grenada Christian Academy, it's a secondary school operating out of Pearls. It would not be moved from the village of Pearls just to another location within Pearls. And so that is something they can look forward to.
They are actually finalizing the designs on
it. So I believe come 2021, later into 2020, early 2021, we should see that project on. There's the ongoing project at La Poterie, the playing field, the first phase, which is the settling of the field, was completed, and the infrastructural works was held up again due to COVID, and the funding being provided by the lottery authorities. Because of my involvement with that project, Minister, I happen to know that by the month of September, they have indicated that they would like to restart some of these major projects. So that is something that will continue, plus several other things that will come on.
I also want to speak about an initiative of the new National Party contributing to our constituency. And we have received 10 sewing machines from the party. We will be starting the training for the young people. Or it doesn't. You could be maybe not so young and you're interested in learning how to sew. So that would be part of it. And this complements the party. Also, we will be doing some small manufacturing very soon. Again, compliments of the party. We have received all the equipment necessary to start. So what we are doing is putting the operational plans in place before we can actually see the implementation of those things. So the party is contributing as well towards the development of our constituency and what we do there. But before that, remember earlier this year we saw the completion or the renovation of the Simon Boat Bridge. We also remember last year in La Poterie we had a bridge that collapsed. That bridge nicely constructed and finished already. So work is ongoing. And what is important about those projects, Ms. Duncan, it provides employment for the people within the communities.
Well, I happen to know because La Poterie is the village that I live. With that bridge that you're talking about, the reconstruction of that brand new bridge that leads you onto Moonlight City. For those people who are used to going to Moonlight City, that bridge collapsed when a pretty heavy truck went across it with a lot of load. And the government immediately moved forward. It was done. The contractor came from right in the village, living almost right on the bridge there, and that was significant. And in conversation with him, he told me that at least 24 other people outside of
employed.
himself was employed. Not all at the same time, you
Yeah,
know, at
yeah,
different
periodically.
periods in the construction. So that in and of itself, if you have 24 people from one village plus the contractor 25, you know, engaging in that, yes, it's short term, but
Yeah.
it tells you that the government, whenever it does something in a particular locality, looks for the people
The
in that
people within
locality
that
to
area.
benefit from it. Yes.
All right, wonderful. Now, Minister, what message would you like to, message of hope, message of encouragement, would you like to give to, one, the young people, and two, the constituency during these COVIDious times?
Right. First of all, I would start with the message for our young people. We must understand the times that we are operating in. It is not normal times. And as a result, we are expected to make changes in the way we do things. We have to adjust our mindset as well too, in what we expect from the government and what we have, some of the plans that we had. Adjustments have to be made because we are dealing with different times. However, government will continue to invest in our young people. They can be guaranteed for that. Government will continue to place young people. We will continue to engage them as a Ministry of Youth, ensuring that we can help in the developmental process, ensuring that we can prepare them so that they can make their contribution to national development. And I want to say to the young people, yes, as government, we have a responsibility, but they too have a responsibility for their own progress, their own development, and their own success. And they must not take that as a joke. So while we're doing our part, they have to do their part because it would be a holistic contribution towards their success. To the constituency of St. Andrew Northeast, again, I always express my deep gratitude for giving me that opportunity to serve them in that capacity. And I want to say to them that we will continue to work together to build our constituency. We will continue to work together in our communities, you know, improve on the facilities, create opportunities for development for our people. And once we continue along those lines, I believe that we will make it forward or move forward together as a constituency.
Well, thank you very much, Minister. But you have 2 minutes, and I know this one miss you, Minister, not on purpose, but it has been a little talking issue lately, and you must say it nationally. The
Yes.
Tivoli Medical Center.
Yes.
I know our opponents have been making some wrongs with some untrue story, as we call it nowadays, fake news, saying all sorts of things. Please, you have 2 minutes in which you can say something to the people of Tivoli and Grenada as a whole about the Tivoli Health
And
Center.
what is so important is that we do not keep information from our people. So the people from Tivoli, the people from La Poetry, Upper Conference, and so they know. The Tivoli Medical Center has some internal structural problems. And the Ministry of Health, together with the Ministry of Infrastructure Development, they looked at it and made a decision. It is best to close the building for assessment and retrofitting in that period of time. But what happened is that the information was discussed with the nurses and so at the Tivoli Medical Station. They were given at least 3 weeks to a month to prepare the people who come there for the different services to know that the center will be closed for assessment and for renovation. However, during this time, we will have to relocate. So there is no issue there because what we are doing, we are taking a temporary measure to protect and save lives. We couldn't keep them in a building that has internal structural challenges.
Right.
And in the meantime, we moved them to the Hermitage Medical Center. Of course, not to the best convenience. However, it is better than nothing. And what we are doing in the meantime, we have identified the Ahoma Community Center, which was recently renovated again, to retrofit and to ensure that we can have the people of Tivoli and surrounding areas, those who use the Tivoli Medical Station, a place that is closer to where they are accustomed going to get the medical assistance and services and so. So we want the people of Tivoli and surrounding areas to know that it is not a permanent fixture that will move them out, but it is a temporary measure that is necessary to protect and safeguard their health. But I can tell you, no matter what the opponents say, the people know and they understand.
Thank you, Minister. I just thought it was important, and I know this one slipped you because the opposition people are trying to use it to make some kind of political mileage. Yeah. They just locked down the station.
They have not gotten through because the people know.
Know why? They know. There are some structural effects, and that is being looked at, that is being assessed. Remedial work will be done.
Yes.
Soon they will be moving into the Ahoma Community Center, which is within, the same vicinity.
Same walking distance.
And so. And they are using Hermitage now simply because they have not completed the retrofitting.
Because there are some procedural matters that must take place. We must go through a process of tendering, and, the Ministry of Works, they had to look at the building, do their scope of work and everything. So it's not a quick fix. It's not an overnight fix. But we have procedures and technical things that must be done before we get to that stage.
And also, what has happened to the medical station, it is not something that was being planned or prepared for. It is believed by some of the engineers that there might have been some earth movements.
Yeah.
And as a result, it has created a lot of cracks. And the top of the building is also concrete. Because when it was done, it was with an intention at some point later to do an upper flow. So those cracks has appeared and the water is seeping through. So you had to do something urgently. So, Minister, we were happy to have you. We hope that it would not be too long before you can come back. And in part, I believe what was really good, valuable information, not just to us here, but to our listening public, which now I believe a lot of people who are listening would understand better, what is happening in the ministry, of course, but secondly, the constituents who are listening also knows what's taking place in the constituency. And I happen to know, because of my close working relationship with you,
we work together, that and you have been my past MP, so I mean,
and you are my present MP. So, you have been doing these outreach little meetings, and there was a very lovely little one in the Tivoli area on Monday, and tonight you're going to Bele Government School.
So we continue to engage our people. I mean, our people, they know that we reach out to them. We are there. We are working together. And that is the best way to achieve success.
And just to remind them again that we obey all the protocols. So all those who are coming to the meeting this afternoon, you have to walk with your mask. And we're ensuring that the sitting is 6 feet apart from each other and so forth. We are observing, and I can tell you that. So, thanks again, Minister, on behalf of us here at HARDTALK. And remember, the doors are always open to you. Even if we did not invite you, just walk in or call us and say, look.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure being here, and I'm always looking forward to come back. It's just that sometimes time doesn't allow it, but I'm going to be back. I cannot say when, and it's a pleasure to be here to share information and to speak to our people. I was looking forward to some phone calls as well. But I do have another meeting with the Ministry of Youth. So
maybe next time when you come, we take the entire 2 hours and we get some phone calls in.
So just to say to the people who are listening and viewing, we do always appreciate your comments and your feedback. So feel free to share them as well.
Yep, of course.
Absolutely,
so people can, and we do accept WhatsApp, and on the live they can send them. So even you are not here to answer them now.
Yes.
Once they come in, we can pass them on to you. If you are able, you can call in at some point in time to give answers, or give us the information and we can pass it out to you. Thank you again, Minister.
Absolutely. Now, I know the Minister has to leave, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a short break so that the Minister can exit, and then we'll be back with more conversation between Mr. Bola and I. We'll be back in a short while.
And the public.
And the public.
Thank you.
You're listening to HARDTALK Grenada via www.hardtalkgrenada.
COVID-19 spread. someone has a fever and cough or other symptoms of respiratory illness, avoid close contact when possible. Let's all do our part to ensure that each and every Grenadian remains healthy. Our health is our collective responsibility.
All right, guys, and we are back coming off the heels of a very interesting and informative conversation with our Minister for Youth, Minister the Honorable Kate Skeeter-Lewis. Mr. Bola, I feel empowered. I feel confident in our young people. I feel confident in our government that they are providing sufficient opportunities for our young people. Just listening to the number of things and the number of opportunities that are available for them through the Ministry of Youth. We're talking about the Youth Biz. We're talking about the Empower program, which doesn't just look at training, but also looks at the holistic development of our young men, especially those at risk, and it makes me feel good. What doesn't make me feel good, however, is the fact that our young people are not being encouraged. Some of our young people are not being encouraged to participate in these activities. I think, in my opinion, with this knowledge, more of our community leaders and more of our community groups and even individuals with influence in our communities must now seek out the young men at risk, seek out our young people who need these opportunities and encourage them.
Well, Ms. Duncan, I concur with you that Minister being here has opened up, or exposed a lot of what, some of this information is not new, but for the people and those who still had doubts in their minds as to whether or not the government has given up on our young people, especially with the recent upheavals, the fact that we've seen some young people being defiant, for varying reasons, which we'd have to dig deeper into and see how eventually we can deal with whatever those issues and problems are. What I do not agree with you is that we are doing sufficient, So I want to agree that the government is doing a lot. But with the numbers that we have still out there who are unengaged and unemployed, or some probably might be underemployed, and some are unemployable. Yes, so, we have all these different categories, the unemployed, the underemployed, the unemployable, we still need to do more. Whether to expand on what we are already doing as what government is already doing, or to find new programs, to find other means of engaging and reaching out. I mean, I know there are a few smaller programs that the minister did not even have the time and opportunity to touch on. Like there's a program that continues referred to as FLY, Fostering Level-Headed Youths. That's what it means. That program was run in Rose Hill a year or two ago, a year and a half ago, where a small number of young persons was engaged, where the facilitators will go right into the community and work with these young people. In recent times, it was being operated in Mount Horn in St. Andrews, which is in the neighboring constituency to where the minister is from, in Minister Delma Thomas' constituency. Montu in South St. George, they had the FLY program going on. There is also a program that exists through the Ministry of Youth in collaboration with the Ministry of Social Development. Now it was started by the Ministry of Youth, and now Social Development is involved, where it's a sort of reform program where young people who are incarcerated, who are in the prisons, are being given an opportunity to learn skills, to be engaged with facilitators, so that when they make the time, they serve the prison sentence, that they do not repeat. And I recalled for a short stint when I was involved with the Ministry of Youth as a minister, and we had a graduation. The program at that time was having great success. In fact, a previous batch that was graduated of, I think, 21 or 22, if my memory serves me right, only one out of those inmates returned after a 12-month period, so the program was having its impact. So there are many programs that are having successes that sometimes are not exposed well enough and explained well enough. So a lot of our citizens do not know of those programs. Maybe, like I say, we need to expand on some of them, resources being a challenge all the time, and resources not only financial but also human, because you need people to man those programs. There's no need in no good sense in engaging more people that you can really accommodate and facilitate. Yes? So some people may say, instead of 350, why not 3,500? Well, maybe the reason why it's not 3,500 is because you don't have enough facilitators to deal with more than 350, or you don't have enough finances, because these people, they don't just engage them in those programs, but they provide for them a stipend. Right. They help them to get by. They provide the tools and other equipment for them after the program is ended. So, there's a lot to be done still. But I really feel happy to hear what Minister has explained. I hope that those who are out there listening or have listened to what the Minister said would take and contextualize all of what she has said. And if they have not been doing or have not yet applied or doesn't feel compelled or haven't felt compelled before to get involved, that they should now try to get engaged and get involved and get onto one of the programs at whatever level you are at now. There's the certified programs where you can get the CVQ, whether it's level 1, 2, or 3, the Empower, the Imani, there's the through the Imani. There's also the academic side, the scholarship program. I've known a couple of people from around in different villages that has made it through to SGU as a result of being involved with the Imani and the academic program. So yes, there is a lot happening. We need to do more, as I say. But again, congratulations to you, Minister, and to your team, as she have said, the entire team in the Ministry of Youth, the PS, and all the other officers that from day to day walk around organizing, programming, engaging, doing what needs to happen. And kudos to the government for not giving up on our young people.
Absolutely. I mean, they're doing an amazing job. And of course, as the minister said, it is a collective effort. It needs to involve all stakeholders being leaders in the communities, ministry, government, public servants, teachers, everybody, parents need to be involved, because that is what is going to determine the success of these programs. We have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Oh no, it seems like we lost that caller, so I'm going to ask if you're listening to go and call again. But yes, Mr. Bowler, the collaborative event, and we've spent the better part of this week speaking about people knowing what they want for themselves, and reaching those goals, and even those examples that you gave, those testimonials that you gave that involved these young people who made an effort to go beyond just the training and go beyond just the stipend and establish themselves. Even that goes to show that you can come from a place of poverty, or a place of not knowing exactly what you want to do to yourself, to being a successful businessman or woman. We have a call on the line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning to you, Ms. Duncan.
Hi, good morning.
Well, I woke up, I had my day started good, but then it ended bad so far, because I was calling to tell Sister Lewis that I would never vote for Mr. Bowler anymore.
Well,
but
just stop for one moment. One moment, just stop. You ain't voting for Mr. Bowler anymore, but as long as you're voting NNP, you're voting for Mr. Bowler. Let me just tell you, just recently, I walked into a supermarket And I happened to run into a young lady. She's from Parklet, a part of the constituency that I want to represent. And she said, Mr. Bola, I vote for you, you know. I said, thank you. She said, I mean, last election. I said, but what do you mean you vote for me last election? She said, well, yes, Minister Kate get the vote, but it's your vote first. So let me tell you, brother, while you are voting for me, still have some people out there voting for me. But we are in this thing together. So whether me, whether Kate Lewis, whether Kate Mitchell, once it goes for NMP, it goes for me. Thank you.
That's correct. Yes, but I felt so happy and thanks for bringing Sister Lewis on the program this morning. And she let us know a lot what is going on in the community. And we need more of these discussions. I mean, you and Mr. Bola would have could only do so much, but when you actually hear it from the ministers themselves, they'll be able to divulge even more because it's coming straight from the horse's mouth, you know. And it's good development for the parish and for Grenada on a whole. So I want to tell her to continue doing what she is doing despite all the oppositions that may arise from time to time. So anyhow, have a good day, and well, the week is almost done, but take care. Have a good one.
You have a good day too, but it's weekend for us, so we can wish you a happy weekend because tomorrow, God's willing, should be a sitting of the lower house. The House of Representatives is meeting. It will be carried live,
right.
So you won't hear my voice. Although I know you don't want to hear it, and you won't hear the voice you really want to hear tomorrow. So enjoy your weekend. And God's willing, next week, we hope we'll be around so that we can continue to chit-chat and have the program running.
All right. Take care.
Be good.
You too. Thank you for your contribution. We have another caller on the line, but we also have a comment on the live video that reads...
So can we take the caller and then take the comment after?
We could do that.
Yes.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Bola. Good morning, Mrs. Duncan.
Hi, good morning.
Yes.
Yes.
One thing I love is Mr.
Yeah, just to tell you, we're running out of time quickly,
Okay,
so
yeah.
if you can be short.
Yeah,
with us,
to Miss Kate Lewis. Senator
Yeah.
Kate, as I said, Minister Kate Lewis. When she, before she became a minister, a politician, if you look at the achievements she was doing with the young people in her school.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a transformation from with school with the young people. And to other politicians, she continued to do a wonderful work. I want to congratulate Sister Kate Lewis for the wonderful job she's doing in the Ministry of Youth and the government from taking out the young people on the street. Because in 2030, a lot of young people on the street idling. But this government brought information to the young people of Greater Carriacou and Peter Martinique in empowering them. So I step against us. I will record the shot here.
Thank you.
Duncan, Mr. Bola, you have one.
All right.
Bless you.
All
You
right.
as well.
Thank you so much. You as well. The comment online reads, but there's only so much that government can do. I must applaud our Prime Minister and his team for doing such a tremendous job in our beautiful island. We have another caller on the line. Good morning. Hello, caller. Good morning. I don't know what's happening there. Good morning, caller. All right, so that caller is going to have to try again. So we are taking a few calls. The lines are open, not for very long though. We will be closing off soon. And as Mr. Bola said, tomorrow we would not be live here sitting with you having these conversations. However, there will be a sitting of the lower house of parliament. And if you don't know what the lower house of parliament is, it's the House of Representatives where all of our 15 representatives would...
15 elected.
Elected representatives. 15 elected representatives would sit in parliament. We have another caller on the line. Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Duncan. Good morning, Mr. Bola. How
Good
are you
morning.
guys doing?
We are very, very good this morning.
Nice. I just want to make 2 points. The minister has touched on a lot that is happening, that is taking place where the youth is concerned. A lot of us know that already, and I think the reason that the opposition, the leaders of the opposition parties are not telling their people, are not asking them to take advantage of what is happening, it is not in their best interest. One. But the young people ought to know that if there is something, if they are in distress, if they are suffering as people as they claim to be, and there are programs that are good, that are going to help them, to reach at a certain level, and they could take it further themselves. They themselves should look at it and capitalize on the opportunities that are available to them. Yes, we need to do a lot more in the communities because some people genuinely would not know about the program because they may not have been listening. They may not be hearing. They'll be hearing one voice that the government isn't doing anything for the young people, And the government is doing its best. There's so many programs, so many programs that the people will capitalize on. And the next thing I want to say, this morning I read a comment from one person on another radio program that says, if the minister is sending her children to school, then they would consider sending their children to school as well. And I look at that and I said, just imagine, how people are thinking so backward, These are the same people, some of them that had their children playing jab.
Some
right?
of them, yes, some of them.
Yes, some of them. And again, people are talking about school reopening. There are options. They tell you if you're not comfortable, 1 minute they have a problem with the online classroom. Next minute, school opening, they have a problem with that too. I mean, come on. Come on, people, wake up. Why every time there's something, they have to be opposing it. You have these classes are opening, you have a problem. They tell you about the online program, you're talking about who will be home with them children and who will this and who will that and the other. But you have options. If you don't want to send them children to school, you could get involved in an online classroom.
Homeschooling.
And have the children participate in that. So, we as Grenada, we are not content. And people keep saying that there are no COVID in the island. We cannot say that. We could say there are no medically
tested, proven cases, yes.
But we cannot assume that there are no COVID. And if the government go to say, okay, we go just do anything lackadaisical, and a case pop up, I mean, the Prime Minister, the poor Prime Minister, is he that us go behind? I don't know why everybody went behind him, but it's like he is the one that, they are after. And it's his head they will go after if one case come up and somebody, what about the children with a mask? And they think, but that is what they tell you to avoid it. I read something about in Starbucks where there are so many employees and only 4 of them that didn't get the COVID. And you know why? Because they were wearing their mask. All the others that weren't wearing masks got the COVID. So that's the importance of wearing your mask. Yeah. Look now in Trinidad, they're going to fine you if you have to pay if they meet you without a mask on. And I think they need to do the same thing here. Because people in Grenada, I find that we are very careless here and we just like to blame people. Something happened, you blame them. You never thank them. You never appreciate the good things that they are doing. And nobody is perfect. And Dr. Mitchell is one that said he's not perfect. And he knows that, sometimes we cannot have it all the time the way we want to have it. Because he and the government cannot please everybody. Everybody has their own agenda for their life. And they cannot expect government to fill everybody's dream and everybody's wish list. It cannot happen. It would be impossible. Even if they had issue with Jesus Christ and crucify him. Can you imagine?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that so you understand what is happening.
Mr. Bola and Ms. Duncan, enjoy your holiday.
You enjoy the rest of your day as well. The fact that she understands that even Jesus Christ, who did, things that Kit Mitchell couldn't even dream about doing, things that the government of Grenada cannot, contemplate doing. And they still said crucify him. And when Pontius Pilate said, what wrong has this man done unto you, whom they brought him to, Pontius Pilate, to be the judge? all they shouted was crucify him. Crucify him. What wrong has he done? No one could really say. So, we are not in any way trying to compare Kit Mitchell to Jesus Christ. But, we don't expect everybody to agree with everything. And then there is no way that the government can put a law, put regulation, or put something in place that can please everybody. Single individual.
Yep.
And will definitely supply everyone's needs and be in sync with everyone's desire. So, we understand that. But kudos to the government. They're doing the best they can in every area, not just health, not just security, and not just social services, but with youth and with infrastructure and everything else. Despite the difficult times that we're living in, they are trying to put their hand in almost everything and have the pulse being touch of almost every sector in society. Some more than some, but they're trying.
We have another caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Hello, caller, good morning. All right, we seem to have lost that caller. Mr. Bola, I just want to put something into perspective for those who are saying, because I see it more and more and more coming up. For those who are saying we have no COVID in the island, we have to remember Trinidad and Tobago was at 0 cases just like we were. They weren't taking in, they had opened their airports, yes, but that was not the source of their infection. Now they are grappling with COVID-19 and are now at 1,222 active cases of COVID-19, increasing daily. Today alone, they had 18 positive cases.
Well, the
New
day isn't
cases.
finished yet, eh?
And the day is not done as yet.
Yep.
So we have to look at these things in these perspectives. For those who think that they have the answers and the answer is exactly what they say, either it's to shut down the airport or to put stricter restrictions on the airport, or to those who feel that they have the answers, nobody has the answer to COVID-19 at this time. Not a person.
Yep.
We have another caller on the line. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Appears as though they just hung up when just as you called them.
It seems so.
Yeah.
Mr. Bola, you're going to make a point?
No, I was going to say that only last night I was looking at the news of a gentleman somewhere, I can't remember if it's Ohio or someplace, that he's now contracted the virus for a second time. He was hospitalized somewhere around March or thereabout, recovered, went home, and has now returned to hospital with COVID again, So, there's some sad stories that you're hearing about out there. There was one young lady who had to have a lung transfer as a result of COVID. So some of us are just taking this thing as though it's a joke, it's a walk in the park. Our medical personnel here in Grenada has dealt with the 24 cases that we have had so far, and we're good. One guy said to me, man, look, man, we are Spice Isle, this thing can handle us. I hope all those things are true, but listening to the scientists and the medical experts, it does not give the confidence that we can just do anything in any old way without obeying the protocols, and we will remain safe forever, So people just have to be cognizant of those things, and we have to take the necessary precautions, and we have to act as though every other person that we meet on the road may be a positive case. Yeah. We're happy that they are negative and hope they will remain that way, but our actions should dictate to us, or the realities that are out there should dictate to us that the actions we take should always be to be defensive, to be protective, and to treat everyone as though they are a positive case.
Yeah. And Mr. Bola, I quickly want us to touch on the idle individuals who seem to find it funny. There's been a few articles circulating of false information. And for the individuals who are very idle and think that is funny, it is not. Because you are damaging the reputation of Grenada. And I don't think people understand. Some people understand. And maybe it's to the fault of the opposition that has made it so comfortable to spew propaganda and make it seem like a normal day-to-day activity that has made it okay for people to think that you can just go about to say what you want about Grenada and say what you want about people with no cause or consequence. And you have to understand that the consequences of the actions that you partake in can be very far-reaching, especially in an issue of COVID. Somebody took time yesterday to sit down and edit a whole article, or the day before, to edit a whole article saying that Grenada had 40 cases. 40 cases where? You know? And they found that funny enough to post online. And only yesterday I saw another fake article once again. And they're brave enough to take logos and contact information from local media houses and from government of Grenada and these things and post it onto the nonsense that they're doing, you know.
No, well, there's a bill that speaks to cyber crime, There's a bill there is active laws in Grenada that has been enacted in Parliament that can deal with such people. And I believe, I might be mistaken to think so, but I believe that the technology exists from whence they can trace the authorities, if they wish to, where these things are emanating from. And I mean, why do you want to create that scare? Why do you want to make people become so edgy about information like that? Because there are some poor and ordinary people that just hear these things and immediately the blood pressure goes up, they get into shock, they're worried because, oh God, 40 cases, we're going to be locked down again. What could be the end result and so? And it is happy, idle people, for whatever purpose they feel that they might gain some traction, I don't know, gain some likes, provide dislikes for the government. I just don't know what the motives are. But it really isn't the best thing to be doing, especially in a period like this when we need all hands to be on board and everyone to cooperate and coordinate the work together so that we can keep COVID at bay, one, but secondly, that we can deal with the developmental trust, because our country needs to continue to be productive. Our people need to continue to be positive in a time like now when you have a decrease in the revenue collection, when the demands for needs of goods and services by your people remain high, you know, and probably even growing higher because as more people are laid off from jobs, as more businesses closed down because they have not fully recovered since COVID, as the government pulls back and pays less and less money in the stimulus package that they had offered, because they are collecting less and less and have other very important areas that they must pay attention to. It will become harder for some of our people, and they do not want this added burden of having to think about some of these things that we are putting out there that are fake. You know, let us be considerate as a people. I mean, and that doesn't mean that you have to put up anything good about NNP if you don't like them. That doesn't mean you have to say good things about the government and the Prime Minister if you dislike them. What it means is that you have to be so concerned about your fellow citizens, fellow Grenadians, about our seniors, the people whom, if your aim and objective is to one day represent Grenada, whom you will have to look after and you will have to rule over. Have some consideration for them when you are about to put out these kind of news that you know is fake. It really doesn't make good sense.
It is, and I hope that the people responsible are found and brought to justice, and that they feel the full extent of the law, because this is not funny. I didn't find it funny in any way, shape, or form. I don't know what the motive was or what they were trying to achieve, but I did not find it funny, and more people should stand up, because at the end of the day, these are the things that will affect the country most, because we feel that when we do these things, it will affect the politics and it will affect Dr. Mitchell, but no, it affects the image of the country and the reputation of its people, and that's what we must remember. But before we go, Mr. Bowler, because we're quickly running out of time, I want to say kudos and give a quick shout out to the Ministry of Education. under the leadership of the Minister, Honorable Emlyn Pear, because as a parent, as an educator, as a Grenadian, I am proud of the strides that we have taken in such a short period of time. And I know people out there are clamoring, and again, it's not a lot of people, just a few with loud voices who feel the need to condemn every single thing that we do without trying, without even, they don't even care if it's going to flourish or if it's going to fail. They just don't want to see anything positive come out of this administration. They would rather see the entire country in ruin than to accept the fact that good is being done. And I want to take this opportunity to congratulate all of the hard-working individuals under the Ministry of Education. I want to take time to say congratulations and to send blessings to the teachers and the principals that are going to embark on this journey, this unfamiliar environment of teaching and learning. And I want to say to them that the ball is in their court. This COVID-19 experience can either make us or it can break us. And I would prefer to see that it makes us stronger, And I want to read a post here from my good friend Brenda Batiste, who took some time yesterday to write this very illuminating message. And she said, watching our rich and industrious neighbors, Trinidad and Tobago, bickering about whether online learning will work for their students, they are just beginning the conversation in light of the current circumstances. Is when I puff up and smile and say, I'm proud of my island. And I am proud too. I share the same sentiments. Because while other countries with far more resources than we have are just beginning that conversation of what the next step in education will be.
And while some others have tried and failed, because there are some parts of the U.S. where they had reopened schools and had to close back because, everything was not in place. Some of the things they did or didn't do, has affected the running and the smooth operation, so they had to go back into lockdown. So, but just as you continue, can you explain to me what is meant when Brenda said she smiled and she puffed? I understand smile.
She puffed up with pride. She proud of the place because it is
puff up.
Puff up with pride. Yes. She puff up her chest. She feel good.
Oh, she push up her chest. Okay, Brenda, I'm getting an explanation. I was kind of like a loss. I smiled and I puffed.
Because, it's a good thing, Mr. Bola. It's a great thing. We have made, this is a milestone for us here in education.
Of course, it is great achievement for those of us who understand where we were, what we have been going through since COVID has started, the need for our children to continue the education pursuit. There are those who do not care whether our children learn or don't learn, because any facet of a style that you bring, whether you say online learning, homeschooling, back into the classroom, they will find a reason why none of them can work. Because in their minds, as you've said earlier on in a statement, nothing good must happen while the new National Party administration is in office. Yeah. Even if it affects their own children, their own relatives. No, not under NNP. They will not come with a suggestion for a solution. They will not say, well, look, okay, you're saying back into the schoolhouses, but we should do it this way or that way. You should make this change or that change. No, it's no for everything. Nothing cannot work because NNP is in office. Dr. Mitchell is still at the helm, and doesn't matter who says what, who does what, and what benefits it's going to bring, it's not going to happen as long. And sometime next week we have to touch on that. I was shocked. I was appalled by some of the statements made by the leader of the main opposition party on the Beyond the Headlines program a couple of nights ago, when herself, along with the trade union and the teachers union, and the minister and the PS was there. To say she hoped that social distancing and masking and whatever will work was a good statement, because it shows care and concern. But it also demonstrates to me that the people like them have no standard, or they stand for nothing. because it was just weeks ago she was outside of the Parliament building with placard and saying that there's no COVID in Grenada,
So why
and she
the
doesn't
strict
see
restrictions?
the need for strict restrictions and what have you. So what is it? Is there or isn't there? Should we take the precautions or not? While one day on one side of your mouth you're saying, what is the purpose and the reason for it? You see no reason. The next day you're saying, oh, let's make sure that what we are doing is sufficient for protection. She probably needs to come back and explain to us what.
But not only that, I
heard.
heard a comment, and I was watching the same Beyond the Headlines, and I had to open my mouth in awe, because when I heard her say, I wish you all luck, I mean, it's not a you all thing. What should have been said, or what was the best thing to say, is, how can we help?
What was the better thing to say? I don't know if
The
it was
better
the
thing
best
to
anyway.
say.
But here's what. I think these people are demonstrating more and more on a daily basis that the only interest is in getting into the seat of power, in being at the helm of this country, to take leadership position, but they are not prepared to lead. They are not prepared to direct. They are not prepared to take the necessary measures. They are not prepared to encourage. They are not prepared to let Grenadians have a say. All they want and all they are concerned about is seeing the back of the Honorable Dr. Kit Mitchell and his team that is at this moment doing the best they can, a pretty tremendous job under the circumstances that we have, with the limited resources that are available. So I say to our people once again as we come to an end, please think, consider, assess, verify information, do fact check. And when people speak, don't just take everything they say wholesale. Take it for granted. Listen, learn, research, recheck before you make your decision.
That's
I
a lot
want
of
to
checking.
I want to wish every one of you who are within the sound of our voices by radio or by other media platforms, please do enjoy what's left of Thursday and have a fantastic weekend in whatever you do, wherever you go. Please remember to follow the protocols. Be safe. You won't be hearing me tomorrow, God's willing. It will be the sitting of the House of Representatives. Have an enjoyable Thursday afternoon.
Guys, we have come to the end of our program, but as we say here every single day, in whatever you say and whatever you do, be safe, be secure. We always want to be talking with you. We don't ever want to be talking about you. Please do enjoy the remainder of your day and stay tuned for the National Report.
Royal Grenada Police Force units to be outfitted with body cameras by end of September to enhance its service delivery. We'll have details to this story and more in the National Report. Welcome back with the details to the news for Wednesday, August 26, 2020. I am Rakisha St. Louis. A section of officers within the Royal Grenada Police Force will be outfitted with body cameras to improve the accountability of the force as they interact with the public.
Rapid Response Unit, the Drug Squad, and the Traffic Department. The effectiveness of this initiative will be monitored on an ongoing basis, and a review will take place after 6 months of implementation, when a determination will be made on implementing this initiative across all departments of the police force.
Acting Commissioner Martin said various police forces around the world have implemented body cams and the results are exceptionally positive. He is hopeful that by implementing this measure, the force will become more effective and accountable in its ability to gather and capture evidence and in service delivery.
It is our hope, among other benefits of this initiative, that it will contribute to mitigating adversarial interactions between police officers and members of the public. It will significantly enhance our capacity to gather and capture evidence at the scene of crime, and it would also provide a platform for investigative review if this becomes necessary.
Continuing the news, the General Hospital is the recipient of 27 hospital beds. The donation was made by the New York-based Grenadian retired Lieutenant Nimrod Oliver. Director of Hospital Services Dr. Carol McIntosh told GIS during a telephone interview that the beds will provide extra comfort to the patients and assist the staff to efficiently deliver top-class care to the sick. She explained that the beds, which are electrical with anti-bed sore mattresses, will be distributed to each ward at the hospital and in Carriacou. According to Dr. McIntosh, any donation of beds and equipment to the health sector will always be welcomed.
The hospital is always in need of hospital beds. We are talking across the board. So we are in need of approximately 400 hospital beds because we're 165 here at the General Hospital. We are 44 bed at the Princess Alice Hospital, 28 bed at the Princess Royal Hospital, and at times 80 beds at Mount Gay and 60 beds at Richmond Home. And that gives and takes depending on the people coming in. That's just General Hospital beds. And then I want to clarify because we then need ICU beds, we need cribs for the pediatric patients. So there's a different type, and then we need examination beds or trolleys to bring patients from one site to another. So as a hospital service, we are always in need of a variety of hospital beds. We will place them in different wards, a few in each ward, and several of them will be sending up to Princess Alice Hospital once we have completed our process of sanitizing and a biomed has reviewed them and cleared them.
The beds are valued at US $20,000. Oliver told GIS the relatively new beds were purchased at an auction. He explained that Grenada's development is always foremost in his mind, and whatever he can do to assist in further development, he will.
I saw the opportunity, didn't discuss it with anyone, but saw the opportunity with the beds, and I just decided to go ahead and get it, and hope that it could have been of good use to the people of Grenada. 27 beds, that lot was 27. It was actually 2 lots of 27 each. And I tried to get both, but the second one, so that would have been a total of 54. So basically it's a government auction, and but the beds they're pretty good, and they were in high demand. So the second set, someone outbid it by a lot. So the beds they were in service at the University Hospital in Ohio, and in the US here, like every 2 years or so you would change equipment. So they're fairly new.
This is the National Report. The news will continue after the break.
Protect yourself and our community from COVID-19. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. If soap and water are not available, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer with at least 70% alcohol. Use a tissue when blowing your nose, sneezing, or coughing. Immediately discard the tissue properly and wash or sanitize your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Let's do our part to ensure that each and every Grenadian remains healthy. To stay up to date, visit the Government of Grenada's webpage or the Ministry of Health's Facebook page. For more information, contact the Ministry of Health's hotline by calling 53-VIRUS. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by the Ministry of Health.
Welcome back. Chief Magistrate at the St. George's Magistrate Court was the recipient of technological equipment for the court for the Tri-Island state. The contribution was made through the joint efforts of the British High Commission in Grenada, along with the U.S. Embassy. The UK-US funded programs seek to support the criminal justice sector of the Eastern Caribbean. On Wednesday, resident British Commissioner Wendy Freeman and the Chargé d'Affaires at the United States Embassy in Grenada officially handed over the equipment. Remote court sessions were done during the lockdown as part of adhering to the COVID-19 protocols. Wendy Freeman is delighted to be part of the initiative.
Because of the COVID pandemic and the courts haven't been able to function as they normally would, we're very happy that we've been able to supply this equipment to help the courts function remote working and complying with the social distancing and health protocols. So very glad to see the equipment is here, and I'm sure it will be put to very good use, if not already. So thank you very much. Delighted that it's here.
The court has resumed the court sessions but is adhering to the COVID-19 protocols. However, the use of remote sessions will continue if some issues are raised. Chief Magistrate at the St. George's No. 1 Magistrate Court, Tamara Gill, said that this prompt contribution will assist the courts in executing the necessary task.
We're conducting hearings, adhering to social distancing protocols. We are limiting the number of persons allowed in court at any one time. On entry, your hands are sanitized and you're required to wear a mask. And you can see this courtroom is large enough to facilitate adequate social distancing protocols. Now, in appropriate cases, it will be necessary for us to conduct hearings or parts of hearings remotely. For example, if a party is unwell or considered high risk for COVID-19, it would not be in the best interests of anyone for that person to attend court physically. In a case like that, the court must resort to the use of equipment and allow that person to participate by video link. Your Excellencies, COVID or no COVID, this equipment is vital to the functioning of our courts generally. And you can rest assured that everything here will be put to maximum use in the furtherance of the administration of justice at the magisterial level in Grenada.
Finally, in the news, in an effort to promote climate-smart agricultural techniques among rural farmers, officials from the Climate Smart Agriculture and Rural Enterprise Program (CIAP) engaged over 15 farmers and backyard gardeners of St. Patrick, offering them some of the recommended climate-smart agricultural practices that they can implement on their fields and gardens to improve their productivity. We hear more in this report from Mina Buka.
Climate-smart agriculture is an approach that helps to guide actions needed to transform and reorient agricultural systems to effectively support the development and ensure food security in a changing climate. This is one of the focuses by the Climate Smart and Rural Enterprise Program (CIAP) as it hosted its Climate Smart Agriculture Awareness Initiative at the St. Patrick's Anglican Schoolyard on Friday, 21st August. A session of such magnitude will help farmers and backyard gardeners of the parish to be more cognizant of how their agricultural activities can influence climate change and more so food security. Presentations were made by 2 extension assistants who covered climate-friendly agricultural practices, including mulching, terracing, rainwater harvesting, drainage, irrigation, crop rotation, and others. Hortense Phillip was one of the facilitators who presented to some 19 farmers that attended the session. She says the CSA Awareness Series will bring to the ground issues with climate change, promoting a greater understanding of the implications for the agricultural sector.
The participants in particular, they are fully aware as to what is climate change, what is climate smart agriculture, and it's just a little refresher because they are fully experienced, they are fully knowledgeable as to what they should do as it relates to climate change and to practice climate smart agricultural practices. We have challenges as it relates to climate change, And we're looking at improving and increasing productivities for farmers. We're looking at securing our food security, as well as encouraging farmers to become more resilient as it relates to climate change.
Farmer Emlyn St. Louis has already begun implementing some climate-smart agricultural techniques at her farm. She says given some of her challenges, the CSA practices have been very useful.
Climate smart, I think that is wonderful. So I have my water tank, and it was sponsored by the people of Grenada. And also my compost pile, I have this as well. So I use this in my garden. With the compost, it will keep it really nice and standing strong. And then you get more benefits from it. It have a greater lifespan. You can pick your fruits or vegetable or whatever, and you can leave it without putting it in the refrigerator, and it will stand for quite a long time. So I think that is a better way to go, and I enjoy doing this.
According to SIAP, this is one way that they aim to raise awareness on climate-smart agricultural practices and how climate change can affect agriculture and food security. For the Ministry of Agriculture, I am Mina Booker.
Thank you, Mina. That report just ended the national report for today, Wednesday, August 26th. Let's recap the top story. Royal Grenada Police Force units to be outfitted with body cameras by end of September to enhance its service delivery. On behalf of the entire news team here at the Government Information Service, I am Rakisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us. Until next time.